How's it going? Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Jacques, good morning. Helen.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning. All right. Dan Garodnik, how are you, brother? I'm actually, let me speak to my
please.
stool. Sorry. I went out of order today.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Santa Fe Restaurant. Thank you all for coming, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, for coming. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Alex Fresquez, and I have had the privilege of working here for 12 of the 35 years this small business has been open. In that time, the owner, John Bird, has seen many ups and many downs, and I am pleased to say that today is most definitely an up. Here at Santa Fe, the mayor will be signing a bill that will translate into thousands of dollars in savings for us and many small businesses all over Manhattan, keeping crucial money in the hands of those who need it most. As someone who has helped to run a restaurant in Manhattan, it often feels like the odds are stacked against you. So it gives me peace of mind to know that the mayor is improving the lives of those who own and run small businesses. And now, I have the honor and the privilege to introduce the man who will be putting this great plan into action, Mayor Bill de Blasio.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, and very happy holidays to all. And what a great place to do a signing ceremony. This is this is a beautiful, beautiful room, and it's thrilled to be here. Alex, thank you for your kind introduction, and thank you to everyone at Santa Fe, because this is a neighborhood institution. This is the kind of place that people feel is very, very much a part of their lives. And one of the things that makes the neighborhood special, a restaurant that people really cherish and have family events at, and birthdays and celebrations and so many things. And this is what we want to protect in our city. So, Alex, thank you to everyone at Santa Fe for the great environment you've created here and what it means to so many people in the neighborhood. And also, I just want to do a special acknowledgement to the owner of Enislo Shoes, because this is where I get my shoes. I'm wearing Enislo shoes right now. Yes, I am, because I like to shop at neighborhood small businesses. So, on the east side of Manhattan, I could give the whole rap on the fine products available at Enislo Shoes. So, I want to thank my colleagues in government who are here from my administration, first of all, who really believe in protecting small business. Obviously, our Commissioner for Small Business Services, Greg Bishop, who literally every waking hour he is thinking about how to further small business, protect small business in this city. Greg, thank you for your exceptional efforts on behalf of small businesses. And a man who, although his job is to make sure the city has the resources it needs, his heart is very good. He likes to give back money to people who are worthy. Our Finance Commissioner, Jacques Jiha. Thank you. And then to the elected officials who have been really strong advocates for small business. Of course, Councilmember Helen Rosenthal, this is your district. Thank you for all you do for the district. Thank you for sponsoring one of the pieces of legislation we'll be signing today. Let's thank Helen for all her great work.
You know, my daughter's first meal out when she was in my little Snuggie was at Santa Fe.
There should be a historical marker. What's your what's your daughter's name?
Madeline.
Madeline's first meal at a restaurant ever was here at Santa Fe.
Yes.
All right. Very good. You see, it's all coming home. To Assemblymember Dick Godfrey, who's been a great, great advocate in Albany and here for small business. Thank you, Assemblymember. And someone who has been a great leader in this field. She couldn't be with us today, but she's done great work, and we're going to miss her. Council member and chair of the Finance Committee, Jalissa Ferreras-Copeland, so who's done great, great work. And to everyone standing around me, all of whom have advocated for a long time for this kind of change to happen. I'm going to talk about Dan Garodnik when I introduce him, but Dan, you have obviously been passionate in your pursuit of this change, so I'm going to praise you later. Get ready for your praise. It's pre-praise. So the human meaning of this is what we want to focus on today. It's not just putting money back in the pockets of people who deserve it. It's also what the small businesses mean to our communities. And it is fair to say that the character of each neighborhood is largely determined by their small businesses, that this is what people think of when they think about what they love in their community. The small businesses, the mom and pop stores, the restaurants for the family occasions. This is so much what we think of when we think about why we love our neighborhood. And it's a place, a city. We all know we love our city, but it can be a tough place to live in. It certainly can be an expensive place to live in. Our small businesses are part of what gives us character, and our small businesses are one of the reasons that this big, big city can sometimes feel like a small town and a place that people belong and feel connected to. And it's so important to protect them, but it's gotten harder than ever for small business. And that led all of us to have to think about what we could do differently. And put this in very human terms. Think about in your own life, why do you love your neighborhood? What do you think of immediately? Well, I'll tell you about my neighborhood in Brooklyn. I think about a small family-owned sporting goods shop that's right around the corner from my home. And the reason I think about it is that for years and years, we would go there all the time whenever the kids had a new Little League season coming, or when basketball season was coming, or whatever it was, we would go to that little small sporting goods shop around the corner. And they worked with the Little League, and it's where you got your uniforms. And when they grew out of one glove and they needed a new baseball glove, we'd go there. And it was very much a part of the seasons of life, and it felt like an extension of our home in one way. That's the kind of neighborhood small business that's irreplaceable. There's no chain store that can make you feel that. We all shop at chain stores too when we need to, but there's no chain store that can give you that sense of warmth and community and connection where you know everyone's first name and everyone, you walk in the door, they immediately know what you want, and they're there to serve their neighborhood because they're part of the neighborhood. That's what we must protect in this city. And to do that, we have to address the reality that, the rents have continued to rise. It's tough to be in retail. By the way, it's always been tough to be in retail. But it's gotten tougher as rents have gone up, and it's gotten tougher as there's been so many other alternatives for people to go shopping, particularly online. So we have to be even more aggressive in protecting small business. Look, the good news is we have all together, the City Council and our other elected officials, State Assembly, everyone has been trying to come up with solutions. One of the most important things that the city could do, we've done over these last years, is reduce the fines, because I think in the past there were a huge number of unnecessary and arbitrary fines. We've reduced fines on small business by about 40%. We want to go farther. We want to help small businesses get the legal help they need to get loans, to get tax breaks anywhere we can. We also are going to go to Albany and see if we can get further help in addressing this reality of storefronts that are left vacant for years on end with no penalty or no sanction that stops that from happening. So there's a lot that we have been doing, a lot more we want to do. But today is so important because it goes to the heart of the matter. A tax that unfortunately was making things a lot harder on small business, and a tax that in many ways, the more we looked at, certainly we felt was not a fair tax, the commercial rent tax. And it hit small business in a part of our city, of course, that has some of the highest rents, and it hit people in a way that made it really hard for them to keep their businesses going. We heard this. I heard this from small business owners. And again, I want to give a lot of credit to Dan Garodnick and to Helen Rosenthal and the whole city council, because they kept saying, look, there's something wrong here we have to address. Well, the more I looked at it, the more I realized there was wrong we could right. So the bills that we'll sign today will eliminate the commercial rent tax for businesses paying up to $500,000 a year in rent and making less than $5 million a year in revenue. And this will help 2,700 small businesses. And the vast majority of them are really small businesses. They're family-owned. They're typically a single business or a family-owned business that has 2 stores. That's who benefits, not the chain stores, not the big players, but true family-owned businesses. The average savings, and I love this because this is real money, will be $13,000 a year. And that can be the difference for a small business between ending up the year in the red versus ending up the year in the black. And it really makes a huge difference in a field that we know comes with tight margins. That's real relief. And the message it sends to small business is important too. And it's a message small business deserves to hear. City Hall has your back. That's what we're saying to small business today. We've gone a long way to reduce the fines and reduce the hassles. Now we're reducing the taxes to show that this city is committed to small business. Here's the last thing I want to say before I turn to Dan, and I will offer a few words in Spanish too, Dan, before I turn to you. The government has to play a very, very important role here in helping to protect small business. We cherish small business. We have to put our money where our mouth is. We have to change our policies, both here and in Albany. But New Yorkers have a role to play too. Consumers have a role to play too. And this is where I really want to say to people, particularly since I know there's a lot of shopping still going on this holiday season, I guarantee you, and I am one of those individuals who has not yet fully consolidated my shopping plans, and am looking forward to actualizing them very soon. There's a lot of shopping going on before the holidays. There'll be a lot of wonderful celebrations up through the new year and beyond. Shop at your local small business. You know, I do think sometimes people say, hey, I love that little business. Isn't that great? It's part of the neighborhood. And then they go off to a chain store to do their shopping. You know, you got to go to a chain store sometimes. That's great. But make sure that you always take some of your money to the businesses you love in your neighborhood. Because if you really wanted to be there, you have to shop there. You got to vote with your feet. And this is something that we should recognize, that if enough New Yorkers think that way, a lot of these great businesses will be here for a long, long time. Just a few words now in Spanish. Estamos dando otro paso para ayudar a los pequeños negocios y avanzar hacia una ciudad más justa. Estoy firmando una ley para reducir impuestos a unos 2,700 pequeños negocios en Manhattan. Estos comercios son parte de lo que hace especiales a nuestros vecindarios. Y esta ley los va a ayudar a tener éxito. So with that, I want to turn to a council member who is finishing his career in the city council. There's a good way to end. Dan Garodnick has done great work in his years in public service. He has been conscientious. He has been hardworking. Particularly when it comes to some of the issues in his district that we work together on, like Stuytown and Peter Cooper Village. His level of research and homework has been nothing short of astounding, and it helped us to get to some great outcomes for the community. Dan was, in the best sense of the word, a dog with a bone on this issue, accosting me at many events and gatherings on the importance of addressing the commercial rent tax. And Dan, I thank you for your persistence. I think this is a great way to cap a great career in the City Council. Ladies and gentlemen, Councilman Dan Garodnick. Well done, brother.
Well, thank you so much for that, Mr. Mayor. I really appreciate it, and have enjoyed our collaboration not only on this and on Stuyvesant Town, but also on East Midtown in recent months with a great rezoning that will deliver real benefits to the public and will allow for real growth in that area. So thank you for that. I also want to recognize a number of my colleagues who are here. Councilmember Rosenthal from the City Council, who has been a great friend and advocate on this. Of course, Assemblymember Gottfried on so many issues, including this one. The Executive Director of the New York City Hospitality Alliance, Andrew Ridgey, and we are also joined by, as you heard, Commissioners Bishop and Jiha, and we thank them for their support. As the mayor noted, this is also a bit of a farewell for me, with my term in the council ending in less than 10 days. This will likely be my last public event as a council member. But Mr. Mayor, thank you. I agree. I cannot imagine a better way to end my 12-year run, being here to see you sign our bill to reform an unfair tax against small businesses. This is certainly long overdue, and we thank you. When I was elected 12 years ago, if you had told me that mom and pop stores would eventually be paying more than $250,000 a year in rent, I would have laughed you out of the room. But today, as I finish out my term in 2017, this is the reality for many longtime small business owners. Mom and pop stores are becoming an endangered species in our Manhattan neighborhoods. And most people are surprised to learn that this is a tax that only applies to a specific geographic area in New York City, in Manhattan, south of 96th Street, and only on the rent, the commercial rent that they pay to building owners. It is a good way for us to crush the spirit and crush small businesses themselves, and it's why it is so important that we're taking this action here. A recent citywide report by the City Council found that the top 10 New York City neighborhoods that lost small businesses since 2002 were neighborhoods in Manhattan, south of 96th Street. And since the commercial rent tax was last reformed in 2001, rents on Fifth Avenue in Flatiron increased 264%. On Broadway here on the Upper West Side, they nearly tripled. As rents were rising, the city was not touching this tax. And by leaving it in place, more and more businesses were going over the threshold and were then being subjected to it. So by doing nothing, we were essentially raising taxes on small businesses, not at all the place where we want to be. And these were businesses that were never intended to be impacted in the first place. That is why, with the bill that the mayor is signing today, we are doubling the threshold at which the commercial rent tax kicks in to $500,000 a year. We are delivering relief to nearly 3,000 Manhattan businesses. 1,800 of those, the ones with less than $5 million in total income, will now pay no commercial rent tax at all. And another 900 ones making between $5 and $10 million a year will be paying a reduced tax. The income limits will ensure that we are giving this relief to small businesses, not banks, not chain stores. And with this bill, the average business owner, as the mayor noted, will receive about $13,000 in annual tax relief. That can go to hiring more workers, increasing salaries, or even doing renovations to existing spaces. This bill will mean serious savings, and it will be a big help. But it is not a cure-all. And it should represent just a next important step towards solving our retail crisis and helping New York City's mom and pop. So again, Mr. Mayor, I thank you for your support of this. I want to recognize Mariana Vaidman-Stone from my office, Corey Epstein, and all the members of my staff who've worked on this over the past couple of years. And with that, we're glad to celebrate, and we'll look forward to seeing you sign this. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, I just going to do a little vote here. Who is ready for this legislation to be signed into law? Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
All right, thank you.
Heads down. Photographers down. Yep. You should know that.
Got a point. And happy holidays. How are we doing?
2 trays, please.
2 trays. Oh, okay. Here we go. Yeah, I got to warm up. I got to go to the bullpen to hear my warm up. Here we go. Start with you. Well done. Thank you. Where's Helen? There you go. Well done. In this historic time. Greg, thank you. Well done. Just giving away money.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for hosting us.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for my daughters.
My friend from Aslo.
Right here.
There you go, brother.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for taking care of my feet. Yeah,
It's holiday. I got my order form right here.
those need an update.
We'll repair them for you too.
You bet. Thank you. Special credit for each situation.
One Roberta?
My wife.
Really? I'm a huge Malay fan.
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Pork chops are pretty incredible.
Yeah, I don't, but, Roy, the onions are amazing.
No, it's the margarita.
Yeah, margaritas are sweet. Maddie didn't eat.
Where's our morning margaritas?
I just got to turn on the margarita machine.
And with that, these bills are now. We'll be back. Yeah, we should have a celebration. Right? We should come back for a celebratory dinner.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thanks so much. Thank you. Congratulations. Happy holidays, everybody. All right, well done. No, it's a long road.
It's fun.
Things are happening.
Oh, wait.
We're on a roll.
One second, I'm gonna share this.